Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Okay, so a couple of months ago, and I know I'm late, I'm just now getting down to it. Actually, it was just a month ago. Came across this video that I wanted to cover about the 80s. And I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Hasinka News. Always got the good stuff. I got to say, this brother be digging deep and he finds some gems. So apparently, feminism was really about more leverage in the relationship negotiation phase. Listen, every relationship is a negotiation. You enter a relationship like, okay, how are we going to split the bills? Who's going to take care of the kids? Are we going to do alternating diaper changes? Are we going to, do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday on the dishes? Who's going to wash the car? Who's going to, it's always a negotiation. It's always a negotiation. And what I notice is that Black women are looking for ways to get an edge in this negotiation. So much so that they're willing to destroy everything else in order to do it. Now, I've said this several times and it's sprinkled throughout the entirety of my channel and my content, but really, this video here proves it because this is way before my time and they have been saying and doing this well before me. But before I get into that, I'm going to give y'all a chance to hit the like button by playing the short of the day. I find this one particularly interesting and I wanted to share it with you all. So here we go. All right, I kept the sound off because there's nothing really here, but all right. So he's shaking the tree, getting some money. She's looking. I think her boob popped out. And yeah, that's that. Thought it was a funny skit that I wanted to share with you all. So salute Aaron, salute Freedman's Journal for coming here early. All right, so that's that. Nothing too majorly red pill or deep thought content, but it was fun. It was humorous, and it was something nice to share. Now, on to the deep thought stuff. This is the 80s, 1986 to be exact. You can tell by, well, one, you could tell by the label, but two, you could just tell by the style of dress and the style of editing and all that stuff, all that jazz. All right. So I think we've covered this show before, just different episodes of the same show. This is the show. BT, Bentley, and Jackie Hall are doing a show together, and it's entitled Black Women's View on Black Men. But the answer to that is really far less about their view on Black men, but their view on a changed social climate. You see, the 80s brought about a lot of changes as far as like Title IX and things like that. And then affirmative action really started kicking into the Black women's favor at around that time. And it wasn't just because affirmative action initially was for like Black men who wanted to be garbage men, but couldn't be garbage men because the Polish wanted to be garbage men too. It was about Black men who wasn't able to get very basic jobs that anybody would qualify for. Now affirmative action is some white woman, whose parents were wealthy, saying that there aren't enough white women who are CEOs or in top executive positions at Google. Now it's a whole different thing. Hit the like button. Now it's not about getting the basics. Now it's about getting ahead unfairly. Now, with this new thing for Black women who are double minorities, came an opportunity to not necessarily advance. And this is the interesting thing. these women, these affirmative action women of the 80s, they didn't really get anything monetarily speaking, because affirmative action just said we had to hire a certain amount of you. It didn't really say you had to pay them anything of significance. So they would have like a bunch of these desk jobs that didn't really do anything, like, um, like they were just there all day stapling papers together or something like that. And that was pretty much the bulk of their day, but they got paid a little, but they still didn't get paid more than their male counterpart who actually was a garbage man, or who actually, did have that. Now their job had more prestige because they're in an air conditioned building, and they are probably stapling those papers for somebody of importance. Like, I am the paper stapler of Thurgood Marshall or some crap like that. So, they could really stick their chest out, but at the end of the day, it didn't really pay more. And that's something that's consistent today. But what it did give them is that, combined with welfare, it did give them the opportunity to leverage relationships. And I know that y'all don't want to believe that they're actually doing that, but here's the proof. Fair use. Fair use.
And today we have a special half-hour edition of City Line. Hi, I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm BT Bentley. Women of the 80s, a different breed, independent, career-minded, and full of definite opinions on their counterparts.
Join BT, me, and an all-ladies audience for a discussion of women's views on men.
We'll find out what the women of today expect in dating and marital relationships.
How about sex and money and love? Which do women most value?
Psychologist Dr. Janice Stevenson will be joining us to help discuss these questions and more.
Join City Line for a discussion of women's views on men, up next.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this edition of City Line. Because it is a half-hour edition, we're going to jump right in and introduce our guest, Dr. Janice Stevenson. Thank you for being with us.
Glad to be here.
Now, I know there are a lot of ladies here going to be taking some pot shots, but let's see if we can define some of the discussion that we're going to be dealing with. When we talk about the women of the 80s, is there something radically different or new about them?
I think in some ways, women today are different in that they accept more parts of their personality. They don't limit themselves nearly as much as women of
My bad. No, I was addressing what Classy said, with First Class King said, when he said, all ladies audience, shaking my head. See, traditionally, women didn't go to work. And if they did, it was for a very little period of time. They were typically at home all day, watching TV and, pretending like they're cleaning and stuff like that, washing 3 dishes or something. But since they were at home, daytime television shows like Oprah was catered to them. And this is the same thing. It's people who aren't really working, but pretending to work because they want to pretend to be strong, empowered women, but really they're not working. They're watching TV during the day and they're watching crap like this. That's how Oprah got on, and that's how like so many others got on. And that's why soap operas, if you notice that back in the day, daytime TV, which soap operas, I remember my sister used to watch that. I didn't understand it. It was terrible. And yeah, so that's what this is. There's going to be an all lady audience for that reason.
of the 40s or the 50s did. They don't see their role as bound in by any parameters set by anyone other than themselves. And so they're willing to take more risks in relationships, in business, in child rearing. They're willing to negotiate more issues in their lives.
Okay. Well, what sorts of
And there you have it. That's the key word. The key word is negotiate. They want to renegotiate. Now, the only reason why they wanted these careers and these opportunities and stuff like that is so that they can renegotiate the relationship. It's like, okay, I have a career. Now let's renegotiate. Where the men, for the most part, really didn't want them to have careers to begin with, because of this. It's like, listen, you can have a career if it doesn't interfere with your household duties. But now they're saying, okay, now that I have a career, I'm going to demand more from you. And how did that benefit men who already had, they already had a career? They already had a good thing going for themselves. And now you're saying that, hey, I'm not going to cook every night as we did before and as your mother did for your father. And that is because I'm working. And if he was to say, well, then stop working. Oh, no. I'd rather work for 8 hours a day than cook for an hour a day. Okay, Yo Joe, I like that name. Yo Joe said something that's worthy of response. You can't renegotiate you being fat, overweight, obese, or having kids with other men. That's not negotiable. To some men, it is. That's why you see women who are fat, overweight, with kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with women. That's part of the renegotiation. Part of the renegotiation is I don't have to be as hot. You see, when you get a guy who say like a average looking lawyer or something like that, right? Part of the original contract would be like, he would get a well above average looking woman because he may be average looking, but he is successful. Now what they're saying is, okay, you're an average looking lawyer, but I have a career too. So because I don't really need your money as much, I don't have to be exceptionally attractive. I could just be slightly above average. It's that way of thinking. So they already negotiated the looks. And the way Black women look now is a reflection of that. They just negotiate and negotiate and negotiate. And men have tolerated, fatter and fatter and fatter women. And more kidsier women. They're just leveraging.
things are they saying about us men these days?
A lot. You men are in trouble.
I knew it.
Some of the things that I hear women.
You men are in trouble. Excuse me, men are in trouble? How can the men be in trouble if the women aren't also in trouble? Wouldn't you say that relationships are in trouble? I mean, you are working more than a housewife. Interesting.
Women saying in my practice have to do with the expectations of that man carrying out his role in the home. Women are not going to be tolerant anymore of the assumption by men that when they come in from work and the man comes in from work, the man can sit down while they continue to work.
Okay, let me address Yo Joe again. Males accept fat, obese, with children, not successful men. Okay. Okay, we go with that. I mean, that's what you want to describe, because there is a formerly successful YouTuber who got with a woman that's fatted and tatted with kids, and he don't have any kids. And he proclaims himself to be high value man adjacent. But you're right. There's a difference between males and men. Okay.
So I hear many more women negotiating contracts with their husband for childcare responsibilities, for example. More men.
This is called the bandwagon. In marketing and advertising, this is called the bandwagon effect. What she's doing is she's saying, I already see this trend happening. Everybody else is already doing it. so you need to do it yourself. I'm a psychiatrist and I see that all the time. Like, no, you don't. You're starting this. You want women to renegotiate. And the reason why she's doing this is because she has to get, look, first of all, this is an ugly broad. Just to be clear, this is not an attractive woman, especially by 80 standards. This is not the women of that time period. I'm gonna show you what I mean here. This is not what was considered attractive of that time period. Hold on. Dang, everything is in the 90s. All right, never mind. I won't do it. But just know that. And she knows that. So she knows that since she can't compete in that regard, she attempts to compete in other ways. And those other ways being, oh, I am a doctor. We don't care. And then she says stuff like, we have to renegotiate. And many men, like myself, were I of age at the time, would say, okay, let's renegotiate. You give me what I want, or I'll find a woman who will. She knows that I'll say that because I respect my penis. So what does she do? She makes it more difficult for me to find another woman that will. And that's why she's spreading this nonsense and propaganda to her betters.
Now are picking up the children from the daycare center. More men are taking off work when the children are sick. And the women have stronger statements to make about the role that their jobs play in their lives. And the expectation that they're supposed to be at work too, and they can bring home a paycheck equal to or more than the man's on some occasions.
Now, when BT asked you a question about what are they saying about men, and you said men are in trouble, but aren't relationships in trouble?
This is a smart one. And this is a smart one because she's older and she looks like in her younger days she didn't have to depend on tactics and other stuff. She's a smart one. She's like, wait a minute, men are in trouble. Aren't relationships in trouble? And yes, they are. And in the next 30, what is it, like 38 years is going to be more and more and more trouble.
Men and women getting it together and making a go of it.
I think the relationships are going to survive, but they're in a state of transition more so than being in trouble.
The relationships did not survive. That's why nobody's relating to women like you anymore. Let's be clear that men are messing with the B-dub less than they were back then. See, she wants the relationship to change to the woman's favor. And many relationships have, but those relationships don't last for the most part. And subsequently, you know, the men are not accepting these new terms of negotiation. See, they really thought that they just Hiroshima'd us. They really thought that that's what they was going to do. Because, okay, what do I mean by that? You know, Japan had a no negotiation policy. Like, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate. You know, they fought in WW2 and they like, listen, I'm not going to negotiate. You know, Italy surrendered. They said, I'm not going to negotiate. Germany surrendered. They say, I'm not going to negotiate. Both Russia and the US allied against them. They say, I'm not going to negotiate. Hiroshima. Okay. Let's negotiate. That's what they think that's what they thought feminism was. And a lot of these boomer men negotiated, which set a bad precedence for us. And it didn't negotiate to their favor because they still divorced them. How many of y'all have a boomer father or grandfather that's divorced or something like that who negotiated? So they want to take away all forms of leverage that you may possess, which is things like interracial dating, you know, interracial dating, mating and relating, international dating, mating and relating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They want to take away all forms of negotiation that you have and intensify all other alternatives to traditionalism that they have, that being careers.
Um, while this redefinition of roles are taking place, the men and the women are sometimes confused about where we want to go with this. How are we going to negotiate this contract? Will we be able to negotiate in a way that works for the survival of the relationship? And a lot of times, men and
Listen, if you care, and this is what I'm talking about. She wants you to determine. She wants you to be focused on the survival of the relationship. If you care about the survival of the relationship, if this broad actually cared about the survival of the relationship, she wouldn't be negotiating at all. She'd be sucking my penis and getting me sandwich. Like, well, maybe I should just suck half of. Listen, either do that or the relationship is over. I hate it when these broads pretend like they give a damn about family, community, etc., etc., etc. They just want to get a better deal. What's a better deal? A bigger penis, a six-packier ab, a six-figure income. They want more of that stuff. None of which, besides the income, but the income isn't for the family. The income is for her. The income is for her individual lifestyle. It's not for the family. They're not negotiating for the sake of family. You are. They do not give a damn about a family, as it pertains, because they can have a family without it, without a man, at least by their definition of family. Hit the like button.
women are willing to let go of the relationship rather than sacrifice or compromise the issues that are at hand.
But are men and women having these discussions in their relationships when a man and a woman get together and they've been seeing each other for a while? Are they beginning to discuss these kind of issues in terms of their relationship?
They're beginning to the ones that come into my office are discussing them using me as the referee and using the therapist as the referee sometimes for the discussion. So it is taking place in that arena. It's also taking place in other parts of the community. For example, churches now are more involved in pastoral counseling as a way to negotiate marriages. Couples are looking more toward.
And what's the result? Black men don't church. Black men don't church. I remember last time I went to church. I don't remember the year, but it was on Mother's Day. To make my mama happy, went to church. She said, because I don't like church. And she said, I was like, so what you want for Mother's Day? I want you to come to my church. And the reason why she wanted me to come to her church is the same reason that every mom wants their son to come to their church, especially if their son is a nerd. And that is to show them off to the church biddies. That's the only reason. To show me off to her middle-aged church friends. Look at my son. He's an engineer. Look at my son. Look at him. He's not like those other boys. How your grandson doing? When he get out? It's crap like that. It's crap like that. When your mama asks you to go to church, it's always going to be something weird. And it's always going to be a bunch of bras that look like this with lipstick on their teeth in ridiculous hats. That's the reason why that's the reason why black men don't go to church anymore. A bunch of old broads doing weird crap.
Working out some of these issues prior to marriage, for example. So the negotiating is going on.
Okay, well, before we start allowing these ladies to take some pot shots, I'm not going to be a stationary target. So I'm going to get up and talk to the ladies in the audience.
And while you're doing that, we'll talk about you.
Okay.
Okay, now what part does...
See, I knew it. Look at what she has on.
To take some pot shots. I'm not going to be...
This is not a dress, this is a church gown. This is a church gown. This broad is wearing a church gown and she's making it look like a dress. She's trying to make it look like a dress, but no, this is a church gown. I told you. I don't want to go to church listening to somebody talk about blizz, blazz, and ham, and trying to sell a subpar woman to my penis. I do not want to deal with that crap.
be a stationary target. So I'm gonna get up and talk to the ladies in the audience.
And while you're doing that, we'll talk about you.
Okay.
Okay, now what part does sex play in all of this stuff, and how has that changed in the 80s, the
Well,
sex roles?
The male-female relationship is, for the most part, a sexual relationship. The purpose of the relationship traditionally has been procreation, which is the end result of the act of sex. So the relationship is defined by how the two people in it carry out their sexual identity. What risks are they willing to take? How do they define themselves? What are the limits of that relationship?
And there we have it. Dang. I was hoping for that for a while. I was trying, because I think that they're deliberately trying to hide it. I was trying to look at her ring finger just to see if this bride has a ring, and she don't. And she don't.
Relationship. However, that sensuality plays itself out in the relationship. These are the kinds of questions that get carried out now as a part of the sexuality of a relationship.
What kinds of problems do partners encounter as a result of the misuse of sex? I know some examples right now, of course I wouldn't name them on the air, of women who use sex, their sexual being to their own benefit. And then I know of men too, who use that to dominate women.
Some, the kinds of issues that I'm hearing coming into the office have to do with women being sometimes afraid in that bedroom to ask for what it is that they want from their mate in the bedroom.
That's not an issue. See, she's introducing issues. I'm afraid to ask him for what I want in the bedroom. That's because he don't care. That's because he don't care, unless what you want just so happens to be like a new creative thing that he didn't think of himself, that he's like, oh, that's a good, I tell you a perfect example. A woman told me what she wanted, and I wanted to hear it. Picture this. I was maybe like 21, 22. No, I was younger. I was still a teenager. I remember because of the circumstances. And a woman, she said to me, you know those sour rings, those candies that's like a ring, and it's like green on one side and white on the other side. You know those? So she came up with the bright idea. I know she didn't do it. Like, she probably talked to her girlfriends, or maybe her last boyfriend taught her. But nevertheless, the idea of that came from her. She said that she want to put that around my manhood and eat that off of the manhood. So I'm like, no, it won't fit in the hole. She said, no, if you suck the candy first, it stretches, and then you could put it. I was like, oh, so yes, unless the wife is afraid to say something like that, I don't want to hear it. I don't. Why? Because the whole purpose of sex is, for one, as you said, procreation, but for two, is to please me. No, that's not a version of the fruit roll-ups. That's a version of, it's like a gelatin thing. I'll see if I can find a picture.
I have several couples with whom I'm currently working who are struggling with the man's anger at the woman being assertive, for example, or aggressive in that relationship, or the woman struggling with guilt about that somehow or another she's doing something wrong or she's doing something inappropriate. Yet these same women will go out of that home into the business office and be very aggressive and very assertive as they carry out their business tasks. And then there's a conflict when they have to come back into the home with that.
Okay, now we're going to hear from the ladies themselves.
These broads are not girl bosses, not by a long shot. They're not. You know, these be some secretary females who say, oh yes, I gotta be assertive at work. No, you don't. You don't have to do all that crap. And even if you did, men have been having to do stuff for millennia now. They don't come home like Do military generals come home and yell at their wives like they do to soldiers? Like, do drill sergeants do that? Do drill sergeants do that? Do drill sergeant says, hey, look here, maggot. I told you that breakfast was supposed to be ready at 0600. It is 0605. Drop and give me 45 push-ups. Like, do they come home to their wife like that? No, because they got some damn sense. Man. All right. I'm looking at the candy because apparently y'all don't know what I'm talking about. So here, let me take a second to show y'all what I'm talking about. These are orange, but the one she liked was green. Hold on, let me see. So it's not the fruit roll-up type candies. It's this right here. Whatever these are. I don't know what you call them. Like, I looked up the thing and I still didn't take time out to read what it's called, but it's this right here. It's solid on one side. So I know the hole looks small, but what they do is it expands when it's softened. So that's how that works. Yeah, I guess it's the peach rings from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree sell regular candy. So yeah. All right, so back to the show at hand. Okay, so it's peach rings, but what is it? That's not a Lifesaver gummy. But what is it? What is it when it's green? Is it apple rings or what? Oh well. But the point is, it was a good suggestion. That was a great suggestion. And unless their wives have a suggestion like that, I don't want to hear the crap.
Aggressive in that relationship, or the woman struggling with guilt about that somehow or another she's doing something wrong or she's doing something inappropriate, yet these same women will go out of that home into the business office and be very aggressive and very assertive as they carry out their business tasks, and then there's a conflict when they have to come back into the home with that.
Okay, now we're going to hear from the ladies themselves.
Yes, Jackie, we have a question right here in the audience that deals with that very point.
I'd like to know how you've been dealing with Black men that have a problem dealing with professional Black women, and the fact that they feel very insecure in dealing with them and letting them be a whole total person.
Shut the hell up. These bras be talking like they lawyers and stuff. Like, none of these chicks is CFO in it. Not a one. These are all secretary level broads at best. Okay, listen. I would say like 95% of the audience are doing jobs that computers do now. Like, and I'm not talking about the internet. Oh no. They have been automated. These jobs have been automated for a long time. Even before the internet. Here's what I mean. A bra like this had a job like a white dude will write down a bunch of stuff on yellow paper, on a yellow legal pad, and then give it to her and say, type this up on a typewriter. And then he would say, great, I'm gonna need 20 copies of this. So she would type it up 20 times. And that was her whole day of work. But now you just put it in the computer. He don't even like write it. He just types it himself on a Word document and print it 20 times. And that is it. That is his day of work. I mean, so he don't need bras like this anymore. Like, think about like how a school would work back then or something like that. Like, no. He says receptionists and secretaries. No, they wish that they were receptionists and secretaries. Nope. Nope. These were clerks. See, you haven't heard that word in a while, Yojo. But back in the day when your cartoon was cracking, they had a job called a clerk. A clerk. A clerk wasn't a secretary. A clerk was the people who clerked so the secretary could secretary. See, the secretary, the boss tells the secretary to do something, and the secretary tells a group of clerks to do stuff. So, like, say like we all have Windows or Safari. I think that's what Apple calls it, Safari. And you know, they say you wanted to get a file of something that you filed 2 years ago. So what you do now is you just go to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you type in the name of the file or something that is related to that file. And then it will search, and in seconds, maybe not even a whole second, that file will come up. But back in the 80s, you know, they would say, hey, white secretary woman who's attractive. And then she comes in with her dress, with her office dress. And she says, yes, Mr. Tiedemann, give me the file on the Gibson case. Right away, Mr. Tiedemann. And then the white attractive secretary would press the button and the clerks will come in. And she said, Mr. Tiedemann needs the Jitterman file ASAP. And then you have like a bunch of minority bras that look like her but she's overdressed, but you know, she's in the back. She's in the back, and it's like a bunch of manila folders, and she's trying to find something that says Tiedemann, but she's in the wrong place because he said Jeterman. And then, you know, so she's looking in the T's. She's looking in the T's, you know, and she can't find it, and she's about to get fired and replaced by an uglier broad. That is her life. But she says, I have to be aggressive at work. Shut up. You are not Jitterman or Tiedemann. You're not anybody. You have a first name. And that first name is Clerk.
Are you asking how I, as a woman, deal with it, or how I hear it played out in my practice?
Yes. How do you counsel the men that come to you that you find that have this?
Why do the men need counseling? So her question is, you know, basically, they're insecure in dealing with a woman like me. So something is wrong with the men. The men need counseling. How do you counsel the men? Black men do not get a black female psychiatrist unless she is signed off by a non-simp black man. I repeat, unless she is signed off by a non-simp black man, do not get a black female psychiatrist. Unless you actually hear the psychiatrist say a word that you never heard before naturally, then don't get him. Unless this person spews off some type of Latin gobbledygook that you never heard before, don't get them. Because I don't want to hear anything I heard before. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, looks like you bipolar. I already heard that. Shut up. ADHD, I heard it. Narcissism, heard it. You tell me a new word. Unless you do that, I will Google it myself. You tell me a new word. I want to hear of a mental condition that I never heard of before to show me that you know more than I could Google my damn self.
Okay, now we're going to hear from the ladies themselves.
Yes, Jackie, we have a question right here in the audience that deals with that very point.
I'd like to know how you've been dealing with Black men that have a problem dealing with professional Black women. And
See, these Black men have a problem. You want to know how to solve how a Black man can solve the problem that he has in dealing with professional Black women? Is not dealing with your ass. Oh, hey, fellas, who here is an actual professional? Not these clerk secretary broads. Who here is an actual professional? Dang, I wish Classy was here because Classy's a doctor. Here's what I mean by that. Ever notice how humble these broads get? How humble these receptionist type broads get when you walk your actual professional self into the room? Man, I wish lead attorney was here. He used to stop by from time to time. I wish lead attorney was here, right? Because you get these whole, secretaries and clerks and legal aides and stuff like that, and then they just walk and they walk down their apartment complex and they always overdressed like, I'm a professional. I am a legal assistant to the lead attorney. I am this, yeah, you professional until the lead attorney walks his ass in there. Then you look and you feel a lot less professional. Okay, let me just check something right quick. It's not what I'm talking about, but blue collars are professionals. I have my electric work done by a professional electrician. I have my plumbing done by a professional plumbing. And I have my car done by a professional mechanic. So don't downplay yourself, even though that's not what I'm talking about here, because you don't actually work with women, but I get what you're saying, but don't downplay yourself. I'm talking about office professional. I'm talking about the professionals that work with the bras. That's why I brought up doctors, because they have nurses and stuff. And all of these career college, they get their degrees from the daytime TV commercials and stuff, like, I want to be a phlebotomist. I want to be an x-ray technician. You went $60,000 in debt so you can make $16 an hour? You're stupid. And then they like to stunt on a boyfriend that work at FedEx. They like to stunt on him, even though he makes more. They still like to stunt. They still like to stunt like, I am an x-ray technician. Listen, you take pictures of babies before they're born. Anybody could do that. You're just the one that spent $60,000 on a school to learn how. I'm pretty sure there's a 20-minute Google YouTube video. You just put that gel on it and you take that machine that a man made and you put it on top of the belly. So these chicks walk around like they just big penis Peter. They walk around the neighborhood and they walk around the house like they are just big penis Peter. And then they walk around and they wear their medical scrubs and stuff like that and all this crap. And they just really just walk around like they got double F titties and stuff. But they don't do that when that doctor walk in, do they? When they be seeing the white collar Black professionals, they get real, humbled. They get real humbled. I noticed, because that's how these bras act when I walk into a room. Back when I worked in office. That's exactly how these bras act. Like, listen, that you're not gonna impress me the way that you might impress the dude that delivers the Alhambra water, or the one that cleaned the fish tank. It's not, you're not kicking it that way. And that's because, one, I know what you do. I know what you do. I know exactly what you do. You see, and that's another thing. A lot of dudes, particularly the blue collar dudes, for one, the blue collar dudes don't know that he likely makes more money than her. And for two, he don't really know exactly what she's doing. All he knows is that she suits up, like this broad here. She suits up, and then she goes to the 11th floor of the building. and he don't know what she does on that 11th floor. But guess what I do? And you want to know what you do? You listen to me complain about how the variety pack of cereals don't have Raisin Bran. And I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. And y'all can, if you don't believe me, go to the store. I actually asked the receptionist, because the receptionist is the one that signs in the snack man. And it's a black chick. So she signs in the snack man, and they get like these Kellogg's little boxes of cereal that I eat in the morning, and that I used to eat in the morning. And I'm like, hey, how come y'all ain't got no Raisin Bran? Kellogg's makes Raisin Bran. How come? Ask them if you could bring some Raisin Bran next time. That's you. I know what you do. You're in charge of Raisin Bran, and you're the person I go to when my mouse run out of batteries. So let's not pretend like you just this high powered shit. Man, keep that crap for your husband who actually believed that bull.
And the fact that they feel very insecure in dealing with them and letting them be a whole total person.
Are you asking how I, as a woman, deal with it, or how I hear it played out in my practice?
Yes. How do you counsel the men that come to you that you find that have this problem?
Okay. What I'm hearing in the practice is that men are intimidated by a woman that they need to take a quieter position at their side. The women are not taking.
You damn right. My side is reserved for a quiet woman. And if you don't like that, then get away from my side. And give me my rib back. Exactly. You read my mind. You need to counsel them. Bitch! I'm telling you.
Taking a quieter position. They're demanding their own structure. They're demanding that the man be quiet at their side sometimes.
You hear this? Bitch! They're demanding that the man be quiet at their side. And that's why y'all think that it's a fetish or something. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of women go through bad boy phases. But this whole Pookie Dusty thing that you seen back then, it was really all about that. They're the only ones that's going to be quiet besides a clerk. They know that, that an actual professional is not going to, be quiet by her side. And since she has this overwhelming desire to not be quiet, next to Dazzling Globetrotter, or next to Yojo, or next to Hoop Jargon, she know that she can't pull that crap next to her. Yeah, you be quiet and put batteries in my mouse. And make sure there's some damn Raisin Bran. I never got the Raisin Bran. But I think that they just don't put it in a variety pack. They don't have little boxes of Raisin Bran, I don't think. I don't think anywhere you can buy them. But I know what you are. And you quiet all damn day. Stop making it seem like you a shark. Like you just, out bossing up on clients and stuff at work. Stop it. I see you at work. And it be crap. And the worst thing is, and this is to you black women, they treat you like crap and you sit there and eat it all the damn time. Y'all be eating some crap. I'm like, dang, you really gonna let them talk to you like that? Like, you really gonna let them? Dang. If you see these broads at work, that whole strong black woman career, all that just goes out the window. They be like that when they're in like a circle of like women. But all that goes out the door, and it goes out the door for several reasons. And they don't even treat the white women with in the same position like that. And the reason why they don't is because that white woman is quick to say, I don't have to deal with this. My boyfriend has a good job. I don't have to deal with this. My boyfriend is a mechanic. I don't have to deal with this. I live with my father. They don't have to deal with that crap because they have boyfriends, they have husbands, they're just working to help out most of the time. And they don't have kids. They know that you got a bunch of kids and you are the sole income for all kids. They could treat you however you want, and you just got to sit there and take it. They just be sitting there, eating sunflower seeds and throwing the shells at you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? If they fire you, your kids starve. What you gonna do? They don't do any other women like that because all other women are smart enough to get husbands. Hit the like button.
And the men are angry about it, but the women are saying, that's your problem. I don't have to be responsible for your anger. You're responsible to negotiate.
All right. Real professional white women will support their boyfriends' husbands with their business. Pseudo professional black women want a complete package of man who is 27. Ridiculous. Yes, I have noticed that. Yes, most of the professional white women in their 20s do have rings because they didn't let it go to their head and they didn't say, okay, we got to renegotiate. No, they got the same dude that they got in the Don Draper days. They got the exact same dudes that they would have got, 50 years ago. And let's not pretend like women working wasn't a thing before. Like that was invented in 1986. No, it was not invented in 1986. I never seen it. I just seen pictures of it because cameras didn't exist back then. But y'all all seen pictures of it. Like women in skates for whatever reason. Like when the phones were rotary phones, not even rotary phones. The phones were when a person called the operator and he pressed that thing down like 6 times. He's like, yes, operator, get me KL5, 8612. And then it goes to a woman and that woman yells the number to another woman in skates and she just skates herself over to somebody else and they plug in 2 wires and next thing you know you're talking. That was what women did back in the day. They always had jobs. They always were like skating to your window when you ordered a burger before McDonald's existed. It was a woman that skated to your window and took your order and then went to the thing. And for whatever reason, women always wore skates back then, and then they came back and then they gave you the food. It was always women, white women. It was always women that ever since airplane was invented, there was female stewardess. They don't even have a male word for stewardess. So let's not pretend, and they didn't have a male word for waitresses either. Let's not pretend like the 80s just invented the working woman. No, black women just invented this whole, okay, now we must renegotiate. Now that I have access to a job that I can wear a suit to, now I want to renegotiate the relationship. And now her question was, how do I get men to put up with my crap and be quiet by my side? Bitch!
Sometimes. And the men are angry about it, but the women are saying, that's your problem. I don't have to be responsible for your anger. You're responsible to negotiate that anger.
I don't have to be. So basically, she's saying, I'm going to be an obnoxious broad. And you're angry about me being an obnoxious broad, but I don't have to be responsible for the anger that I am causing you. White girl white girl, give me that white girl, white girl, white girl. If y'all can't handle having a job and being a pleasant human being, then men are not going to mess with you. And miss me with that race loyalty. If you was race loyal, you wouldn't want a man that's by your side silently. Miss me with that crap.
With me, and between the two of us, we have to work together for the relationship to survive. And then what happens within the therapy hour is that we negotiate that, how he can work out his anger, how she can work out her anger, and how their hurt feelings can come together because of the bond that goes on between them, so the relationship can continue.
You know, that's a point that perhaps we need to explore a little bit further, only because Black women, for the most part, have not been homebound through the generations. And so that as we move up in the corporate structure, I'm sure that that's putting a lot of pressure on the.
Nobody was entirely homebound. Okay, and here's another thing, because Black women like to talk about the help. They like to talk about the help. Here's the thing about the help. The help wasn't a full-time job. It wasn't. You helped a housewife do this. Wait, were they out scrubbing the same toilet for 8 hours straight? Were they vacuuming the same patch of floor for 8 hours straight? Like, I mean, it wasn't an 8-hour job. It's the same as the person, the Molly Maid's broad that come clean up my spot. This is not an 8-hour gig. These bras were at home before the kids got home from school. Yes, they had a part-time job to help their husband as he built the White House. Man.
Relationships, but we're going to discuss that when we come back. But right now we're going to take a break, so please stay with us for Women's Views on Men. Oh, we're back on City Line talking about women's views on men, and I'm going to throw it right quickly to BT in the audience.
Okay, Jackie, things are heating up already with this question, I'm sure. Go ahead.
She looked like she got lupus. She looked like she got lupus. Oh my God. Look at her face. She looks like a ventriloquist dummy was carved by a blind person. Look at, holy crap. Okay, let's see what she has to say.
Yes, I like to know why are Black men gravitating toward white women? And I don't have any real person.
You stupid bitch! The last broad should have answered the question, because y'all want the dude to walk by your side in silence. Toy Story face. With the wig to match. Oh! Holy crap. Yes. I'm going to do you one better. Oh, oh crap, because this is from the 80s too. Oh, this is perfect. This is a perfect picture. All right, let me save it so I can do that. All right, image. All right, let me do that. Go ask, why are they gravitating? You don't realize that you're acting like an obnoxious person? Like, you don't realize that? Holy crap. All right. Share screen. What happened? I'm supposed to be presenting screen. All right, hold on. Let me do it again. All right, hold it, window, and then share. Oh, so for those of you who were born on this side of the Clinton administration, this is Glass Joe. Glass Joe was the worst boxer in video game history. He was the first person that you beat up on Mike Tyson Punch Out. And my little sister, who was randomly pressing buttons, would beat him. Look at his hair and look at his chin. This is what she looks like. Now look at the hair, look at the chin. Now remember, now we're gonna go back to the broad. Oh, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up. And she knew Glass Joe existed, and she still bought that wig. She knew that Glass Joe, she seen her son playing a video game and said, "Ooh, that's a good look." She seen her son playing Mike Tyson Punch Out on level 1, and she said, "Ooh, that is one beautiful man. That is one pretty man. He can't fight for crap, but that's how I want to look." Ah, why are men messing with white women? Holy crap. Can't make this up.
Personal problem with that, but I just like to hear talked about more. Maybe I can become more comfortable.
This question, I'm sure. Go ahead.
Yes, I like to know why are Black men gravitating toward white women? And I don't have any real personal problem with that, but
I don't have a personal problem with that. Everything before the word "but" is bullshit. Shout out to Eddard Stark. Everything before the word "but" is bullshit. I don't have a real problem with that, but okay, now that you said the bullshit, let's see what you actually feel.
I just like to hear talked about more. Maybe I can become more comfortable with the whole issue.
Oh, so you can become more comfortable with the issue, but you didn't have a problem with it. Why do you want to become more comfortable with something you don't have a problem with? Bullshit. Ah, okay. Jay sent the super sticker. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Great. Oh, actually, I got a big Cash App. I think it was Jay or something. I didn't announce it on the last show. I got a big Cash App that I didn't see until it was $100. In fact, I'm gonna put that in a thing. So I'm putting in the community tab. I'm gonna put it in a reel right now. But hold on, got a Cash App from. Dang, this app is slow. I think it was you or somebody with a J in it, something like that. Review terms of service. Okay, give me a second. No, it wasn't a J. It was a LT. LT, greatly appreciate you, brother. Yesterday at 5:15 PST. So I was doing one of those shows, and $100. So I appreciate you, LT. Appreciate you a lot, brother. I'm gonna put this on the community tab as well if you're listening. All right. So now that we got that out the way. All right. What were we? Glass Joe. Oh, so she said but. And then she's like, here, let me go back. Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I'm not mad, but see, she don't want to reveal weakness because everything is a negotiation of ours like this. I'm not mad, but just tell me something so I could feel less concerned.
I think there are two answers to that, actually. One is the cultural answer to it. we're all socialized into a society, into the American society that promotes this ideal white woman figure as the one to be sought after. And now with
Well, you're not helping when you say stuff like, I'm not going to be by his side silently. He should be by my side silently. You're not helping with it. You're not helping by saying stuff like that. See, white women don't have to promote themselves as long as black women keep demoting themselves.
some release from some of the tenets of oppression in our society, men feel freer.
You are oppression. If a white man was to say, we need you to walk by my side silently, that would be oppression. You're saying that. You are oppression.
And I hear black men saying this sometimes, they feel freer to pursue whatever is out there. And so they see themselves as pursuing a person, not a racial figure. And yet you'll find men who habitually pursue women who all are either very light-skinned or white, or who carry on a lot of the physical characteristics that this ideal model is supposed to be. And the men won't define it as a racial issue, but I think it's hard to ignore the racial overtones. The other part of it, though, is the exercising of a freedom that's supposed to exist in our society to pick and choose whomever you wish as a partner. What part of the problem?
Nah, they just negotiating. Either you do it or a white woman will. And they are regular dudes. Like, it'll be like Eartha Kitt with some dude named Norm Macdonald or some crap like that. Like, they'll be regular dudes. Like it'll be, all right, let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. What's that broad name? Actually, I won't stop the thing. What's Denise Huxtable's daughter's name? Lenny Kravitz's daughter. What's their daughter's name? Hold on. See if y'all faster than the thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Zoe Kravitz. All right. So Zoe Kravitz, like, I seen it, and she's a pretty woman. Don't get me wrong. But one thing I noticed is that in black movies, like when she played that role in that movie, not The Wood, what's it called? Dope. When she was in the movie Dope, she was like the top chick. She was like the female lead. She was like the hottest one in the movie. But then she'll go to a white movie like Divergent or something, and she's always like second. She's always second. She's always the not hottest chick in the movie. So my point, hold on. So my point is that they always just take a little less. Yeah, Lisa Bonet's daughter. Yeah. They always take a little bit less when they cross over. But when these bras cross over, they take a lot less. They take a lot less. Like the chicks that we'd be like, oh man, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. But but to them, she's just regular. I think Dorothy Dandridge, who was like the Pam Grier / Holly Berry of her day. And her day was a long ass time ago, but it's still of her day. I think she married like a waiter. Somebody said that in the thing, like a waiter. I think he was a waiter. And it's rumored that he deleted her. Now, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's not a matter. So you got to think like these broads for a second. You got to think like these broads. Everything that they do is a matter of negotiation and leverage. They're not doing it because they think his ice is colder. They're doing it because they are making ridiculous demands, ridiculous negotiation demands. And then, And then when those demands aren't met, some of them are doing it as a punishment, but others are doing it as a way to allow others to negotiate. For example, right? Say I'm hiring somebody and I look at that person and say, okay, I'm going to give you $55K a year. And he says, no, I want 100. I'm like, listen, 55K. Like, no, 100. Like, listen, 55K and that's it. And he walks out. And then I hire the next man and pay him 120. Now, why would I do something so stupid? Because I'm thinking like a woman. And women like to have that whole na thing. And this isn't something I'm making up or something I read in a book. This is life experience. This is wisdom. This is something that you see in a pattern of women, since like grade school and stuff. You'll break up with them and then they'll get with somebody else just to make you jealous. And then you look and you're like, damn, you sucked that dude dick thinking I was going to be jealous. That's what it's really all about. That's what Eartha Kitt, Dorothy Dandridge, that's what all of them are really doing. They're just like, nah. It's like, hey, okay. I guess you showed me. I guess you're going to spend the rest of your life sucking on that just to show me up. Okay. You really want to show me up. But yeah, the best thing to do is to just laugh at them. Like, okay. Your ass is stuck with George Costanza. Peace, bitch. Like, that's what I do. It's like, hey, you left me for George Costanza and you think my feelings is hurt? Okay. Zoe Kravitz got with Channing Tatum because she's not a freaking idiot. He's a successful, handsome dude. Like she's not out to spite. She's doing it because she likes the guy. So yeah, but some of these broads, their agenda is obvious.
For the Black woman is that too many of our Black men are being channeled into self-destructive and socially unacceptable parts of our society. So they're not as available for us. And then somehow.
Oh, I didn't know she was a drunkard and a druggie. I thought that she just had bad eggs and the kid came out retarded. But or maybe it was just like random. But yeah, okay. So live and learn.
I know that the Black woman does not seem to be as available to men of other races and other ethnic groups. So
exactly. It's self-destructive. And once again, for a second, you got to think like a broad. Hit the like button. See, and think about the difference between boys and girls. A boy is more prone, like a 6-year-old boy is more prone to kick his father or hit his father for not getting what he wants. Where a girl will hold her own breath until her face turned blue. And well, of course, that don't happen with Black women, but she'll hold her breath and until she gets what she wants. It's self-destructive. They hold themselves hostage. They will do themselves harm to elicit strong emotions from you. But once you grow past that through the red pill, you could just look at them and like, yeah. You fucking Screech from Saved by the Bell.
There seems to be an imbalance in that pursuit.
Well, what is this then going to do in terms of the choices of Black women in terms of finding, in quotation marks, those good men?
Part of what it means is that the Black woman has to be real clear on what it is that she wants and what she defines as a good man, and then be as limitless as she can in the pursuit of that good man.
What does that mean? If she's okay, she's basically saying make higher demands. So she's not. I don't think she's talking about limitless in pursuit, because what does that even mean? Like, what's a limitless pursuit? But or maybe she's talking about, like, interracial, intercultural, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which yeah, okay, and that's another thing. Stop talking like this, like y'all just invented interracial dating in 2017. Stop it. Y'all been trying to pull this crap so y'all can have relationship leverage for years now, even before this. It doesn't work. It only works, like, when it's an extraordinarily beneficial deal. It only works with white guys who, all things equal, was not able to get a white woman. All things equal. What does that mean? That means that if the woman is, say, an 8, he was incapable of getting an 8. And in the case of Dorothy Dandridge, he was incapable of getting a movie star. He was incapable of getting a white movie star, so he got a black one. So they have been trying to do this. Excuse me. They have been trying to do this for a long time. Hit the like button. Stop trying to make it seem like y'all just invented this. Like, was it Ice Cube that said, I thought I started this gangster shit? No. What do you think the mafia was? What do you think pirates are? You didn't start it. It been started.
One of the things that I hear, and this is coming from some of my work with adolescents, is that the adolescent female now is very aggressive in her pursuit of a male. And she does not limit herself by any boundaries at all. So if she sees a guy she wants, she goes and gets him. And she doesn't care what his color is, as long as he meets some criteria that she has.
So yeah, like I say, they're just looking for more leverage. And it's like, okay, so they are encouraging each other to interracially date without guilt. We need to start doing that as Black men. Interracially date without guilt.
And women in the 20s, 30s, and 40-year age range are not being quite that aggressive. And so they sit waiting patiently for this good Black guy to come.
And to the women that say something, ask them to suck you better. Unless they suck you better, I don't want to hear nothing. Unless you suck me better, I don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. I don't want to hear a thing.
Knock on the door and say, here I am. And he's busy out looking
So
for
the adolescent is the woman of the year 2000.
The adolescent is the woman of the year 2000, and she is going to be something else.
We should do another show on that.
You think it's a good thing. So a chick who was born year 2000 will be 23, 24 right now. She's going to be something else. Yeah, you think this is a good thing? And she should, and I know your old ass is still alive. I know your old ass is still alive. And you still own that wig. And you still own them pearls. By the way, those aren't real pearls. Plastic! Looking at the destruction that she brought, that she helped to bring on society with no remorse or guilt, because she's not alone in her loneliness.
Well, I'm going to stay out of this, but I do have another question here. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, what do you suggest would be a good approach to stimulate conversation?
This is a Slim Louise Jefferson, if I ever seen one. This is a Slim Louise Jefferson, if I ever seen one. This is a Slim Louise Jefferson, if I ever seen one.
Positive conversation about sensitive subjects without irritating your mate.
I don't have any problem with irritating your mate. So
That's why you don't have
Nothing wrong
one.
with him.
That's why you don't have one. She just said, I don't have a problem irritating my mate. Why are guys going to white women? Oh, it's systemic racism. They're brainwashed to blah, 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 blah. No. They don't have a problem doing it because bitches like you are irritating as hell. And you don't have a problem being irritating. Who in the hell thinks it's a good thing to irritate somebody? Who in the hell thinks like this? Oh, these bitches.
Being irritated or stirred up. Are you asking me how to start the conversation?
Yes.
I would like to be able to talk with you about this topic. Can we sit and talk about it?
What subject do you have in mind?
This is a therapist. I'm pretty sure she's a relationship therapist. So if somebody goes in and be like, yes, my wife, she does these things that irritate me. So she shouldn't care if she irritates you. If I was the ruler of the world, broads like this would be given a big razor, a lighter, and sent to Australia and be forced to survive on their damn selves. That would be the end of them. I would ship them off to an island that don't touch regular continents and just have them figure it out.
Well, possibly if you're looking at where your relationship is going and what your future plans are, that's usually very sensitive for most men to deal with because they begin to feel pressured.
I think it's also sensitive for women to deal with too, because a lot of times I'll hear women talking about a struggle between the fantasy life that they have about where they think relationships should go, where Cinderella has said it should go, and where Sleeping Beauty has said it should go, versus what the realities of adult life say will happen to a relationship. And so it will require being willing to talk about intimacy, being willing to talk about anger, being willing to talk about self.
How are you willing to talk about things like that with somebody who don't mind irritating you? Like, hey, honey, when you do that thing that you do, you use a bit too much teeth. I don't care if it irritates you, but we should talk about it. This chick is nuts. Even in the 80s, this chick is nuts.
Selfishness and whatever other issues are going to impact upon the maintenance of a relationship. Relationships take an awful lot of work. And I think sometimes we underestimate how much work it takes and we're not willing to do it.
But women are more inclined to.
You're not willing to do it because you don't care if the guy's irritated or not. Okay, I'm gonna start playing more. In fact, let me do this. So I want to be here past 2 hours. No, that's subtitles. Hold on.
Talk are more inclined to reveal their feelings, whereas men in the past, it appears, has been trained to kind of guard feelings because it makes a stronger figure. How do you break through it?
I think part of what it means is that we as women have a responsibility then to teach them that it is okay to feel. I have a psychologist friend of mine who in his clinical.
Shut up. It's okay to feel. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I feel like I'm with the irritating bitch that don't care that she's irritating.
Practice with other men, particularly Black men, does what he calls education about feelings. And he will say to men sometimes, this is a feeling right here. See, you're feeling this right now. The name of this feeling is whatever it may be. And so that they can learn that it's okay to feel them. They're not going to be destroyed by it. You're not going to consume them because they have these feelings. And we can actually negotiate and work out how to handle that feeling and still survive. You're not going to run out on them and you're not going to be.
This brother's always talking about negotiating. I'm not negotiating my feelings with a broad. I tell you what I want, you give me it.
Them up.
Okay, we've got a call. Hi, you're on City Line. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a comment. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I have a comment. I feel that a lot of men today get away from responsibilities to themselves, society. I have a lot of male friends, and a lot of them that are in relationships, they feel that they have no choice in being in a relationship. They're in a relationship because what the woman wants, not what they want. A lot of them don't have a sense of direction. Their goals are not clear, and this has a reflection on the relationship with women. And as far as women are concerned, I think women is not left in their choice of a mate, and they take a mate out of desperation.
Okay, hold on just a moment. We'll get an answer.
This is her way of saying that the men I'm getting ain't good enough, but I'm taking them out of desperation. Let's see what her response is.
Answer.
Okay.
It's an interesting comment that you make. I have colleagues of mine who speak about not being complete as a person without a relationship. That if they don't have a man by their side, or if they don't have an escort and a bedmate, then they have not succeeded as people in life.
Well, you haven't succeeded as a woman, no. Listen, the most valuable thing that a woman can do for society and at large for humanity is reproduce. Like, unless you have found the cure for the big C or something like that, then the most valuable contribution that you can have is more children. Okay, let me put it in this perspective. I'll give y'all time to answer the question in the chat room. If a genie granted you one wish, what would you wish for? I'll play this while y'all go. Ha, Glass Joe.
And this is regardless of education or vocation or financial resources, that without that man, they're nothing. And so then,
okay, while y'all answer that question, if you had one wish, what's the smartest wish you could wish for? Now, while we answer that, let me respond to Dwayne Rhodes. It says GC, after Sex in the City, Western women changed. Lived in Manhattan, it was crazy living in watching the cultural shift. Yeah, I'm willing to bet. This is well before Sex in the City. And keep in mind that, Black people have been going through this for years. We had Oprah. We had shows like this. They have been encouraging the Sex in the City lifestyle well before Sex in the City. In fact, Sex in the City is was biting off Living Single. Oh no, was that Friends? I think that was Friends. I think they both might have bit off Living Single, but Living Single came out first. We have been going through this for longer and stronger. So, thank you, Dwayne Rhodes. Appreciate the super sticker or the super chat without the chat. Appreciate it. And yeah, girlfriends, all that stuff. Yeah, but okay, so it's Friends. Hold on. Yeah, that's true.
and they go out pursuing men simply for the sake of having a man at their side. That's very scary, because then you don't know what it is you're looking for. You don't know when you find what is needed by you. You don't know if the relationship is healthy or unhealthy, and you don't know how to work to maintain the relationship. And so you take unnecessary risks that put you in danger in a relationship, and it becomes a real mess, and it becomes a lot of work to untangle yourself from that.
So why do these 80s women turn into 50s women like at the drop of a hat? They be going from these strong, independent women of the 80s to, the supportive women who gets with the guy with the 6th grade education, of the 50s. Who gets with the hardworking, railroad illiterate worker of the 30s, of the 1930s. Like, they just go from that to, these strong, independent women, in the drop of a hat. Whenever it fits the narrative. Just pick a stereotype.
Position. Part of being in a relationship means being responsible for
Oh, y'all answered the question. Let me go back to that. Y'all answered the question. The smartest wish you can wish for is more wishes. The biggest contribution to humanity that a woman can contribute is more humans. Point blank, period. Is more humans. I wish for more wishes. You know, like that's your biggest contribution. So really, you are failed as a woman if you have not made that contribution. You are lesser than. You are in humanity's eyes, your contribution to it is less than. And I don't and then so and these aren't women who are splitting the atoms or no crap like that. These are just regular clerks who aren't reproducing. It's like if somebody gave you one wish, what would it be? To be a clerk. This be regular clerks, regular teachers and stuff that haven't, like, yes, I contributed to the education of other people's kids. Like the greatest contribution, you had the opportunity to make the greatest contribution that a woman can make to humanity, and you didn't make it because you was trying to negotiate a better deal.
The health of that relationship, part of being responsible for that means knowing what it is that you want, what's good for you and what's not good for you, and being willing to be without a relationship while you wait for what you want. And that sometimes is real scary for a lot of us, both males and females. We aren't always willing to do that.
Okay, thank you for that call.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Again, we'll take a break and continue our discussion of women's views on men. Stay with us.
Look at how ugly the audience is. Look at, these are the type of broads that have to do that.
Continue our discussion of women's views on men. Stay with us.
Look at this. This bitch look like Easter Island. Look at her. Look at this chick. Holy crap. I think I seen her stirring grits. Wig. Look at this. These are the type of broads that eat this stuff up. I'm going to slow this down. I want y'all to get a good look. I want y'all to get a good look of what women who took this ideology look like. I want y'all to really just soak it in. Holy crap. This one is a maybe. What in the hell is this? Is she wearing like an Aztec hut? Like, was it the Aztec that made huts out of hay that looked like the top of this chick's head? No comment. No comment. Just a pointing. Just a pointing.
Now here's this week's community calendar.
Hello, my name is Maxine Cunningham. Freedom to be a special tribute to outstanding businesswomen. Catherine Pugh will be our guest speaker. For tickets and further information, call 235-15.
See, this is some sisterhood crap. American Businesswomen Association. Shut your ass and your vagina up. A bunch of bitter Baltimore bitches talking about business. This, oh man.
510.
First Baptist Church.
If your group or organization would like to announce an event, please write us in care of City Line, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, Baltimore, Maryland, 21211. Or call us for further information at 466-0013 between the hours of 9 and 5.
Somebody said, I feel bad for the brothers in the 80s. Here, let me set you straight. Let me set you straight. Actually, I'll play this while I set you straight.
We're back on City Line discussing women's views on men, and I'm going to maintain my innocent observer role and allow this lady here to ask a question or comment.
Yes, I have a comment that I would like to make. And I would like to just say that I find in Black male and female relationships, we find some men, they're on, I feel like some kind of ego trip. And I don't know if it's because the women have let them become to the part where they feel that they can do what they want, and then they go right back to the women because the women they'll let them come back. You find that some women can be abused, and they act like
the hell up and give me some syrup, bitch. The hell up and give me some syrup. Mammy, shut the fuck up. Just a babbling and a talking and y'all just get out. Y'all just get out. OWT, get out my house. Shut the hell up. These chicks should be creating false narratives and ignoring the fact that you look like shit. Man. Okay, yeah. I look like I was about to rerun it, but yeah.
and they go right back to the women because the women they'll let them come back. You find that some women can be abused, and they act like they like.
Some women do like it. It's called masochists. That is their business. If a sadist want to get with a masochist, then that is their business. But that's not the point. The point is you're creating this false narrative to put Black men in a dim light.
Like it. I see people and I wonder, well, where are your priorities? When are you going to stop letting yourself be abused? I realize that we as women are queens and we should carry ourselves in that manner.
Why do the ugliest bitches have the most exalted titles? I repeat, why do the ugliest bitches have the most exalted titles? If she was hotter, she'd be a duchess. But she's not, so she's a queen. Like, ever notice that in the Black community? The higher rank, the higher rank title you are, the uglier the bitch. This is from Belle Biv DeVoe, When I See You Smile Again. I think that's the 80s. And this is what they looked like back then. That's what they looked like back then. And I'm not going to bring up videos from the 80s, but go to LL Cool J's Around the Way Girl. Go to, I think it was MC Hammer. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? Go to that. Tisha Campbell in the 80s. Yeah, just go. Do your own research. But no, the 80s had better looking broads. I know because I was there. The ones that clamor to sisterhood discussions and go to, business women conventions and stuff like that, those are the broads that look like this. These syrup models.
And stop letting some of the men abuse us to the point that they have. Get ourselves together and realize that, hey, you're not going to treat me like this anymore. So therefore, I'm going to stop.
Somebody said that was an African hut. No, I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that like in the Amazons. I mean, they could use the same type of huts, but I think the Africans use like clay with the leaves on the top. And they both have titties out. But nevertheless, yeah, this chick got a whole hut on her head.
Several really excellent points. One is the issue about women being queens. There's several books out now in the field about how women in this society are socialized to be submissive, docile, passive, and
as you should be,
and to have great expertise at picking out men who will abuse and who will berate you and who will humiliate you, and that the women will participate very actively in those relationships by mislabeling the quality of the relationship. They will not label these men as dangerous or as hurtful. They will not label the relationships as dangerous. And so when they find themselves hurt, it's like, well, that was a fluke. He didn't really mean that. And when he comes back and says, oh, baby, I love you, it's going to be better the next time, let's go hop in the bed together, then she's saying, oh, he loves me, it's okay, it's real, and we're going to go into the sunset together. And that is a societal problem, not just of any one group, but a societal problem. Women have really got to treat themselves as queen. We are, and we have to start by.
Now, so this stuff has been going on for decades. This whole all women, particularly Black women, default queens. Yeah, somebody say watch School Days. Watch School Days. Watch Breaking. Watch B Street. Watch all that. Even watch Warriors. Nah, it's not. It wasn't an 80s things. It's these ugly bitches things. Now, I don't know what regular women look like in Baltimore, but I've seen The Wire, and man, y'all are down bad. If those were local actresses, y'all are down bad in The Wire. Now, that one scene where Cuddy and then the chick came and she had those lips and she kissed him on the neck and then walked him into the room and there was another chick in there waiting, that's different. The rest of them is down bad. Y'all down bad. Y'all down bad. And y'all talk funny. Oh, yeah. So, hey, that's probably like these granddaughters and crap.
By believing it for ourselves first. Don't settle for less than what you want, and don't want garbage.
Now, this whole idea, though, about men, but isn't it a part of the...
Kima was a regular actress, like, because I've seen her in other movies. I've seen her like in Shaft and stuff. No, I'm talking about, because what they did was they had like the regular people that they imported from elsewhere. And then because it was done in Baltimore, like the background people and the people that did like extra works and stuff like that, those were locals. Like that little girl Snoop, that was like a girl boy or whatever you call that, was local. She was like locally recruited. But people like Omar and Michael B. Jordan and the professional actors, they probably came from New York or something like that. Idris Elba, for example. But no, I'm talking about the ones that had the small roles that was that was local. Yeah.
A male attitude that we often see exhibited, isn't that because they feel they're in the minority and they're sought after because there are many more women than there are men, and therefore I've got the pick of the lot?
I think I hear that more so nowadays from Black men than any other group of men, especially the professional Black men who say it quite that clearly. Well, I am an endangered species.
Yes.
And so you had better take care of me because I can go.
So basically, she's saying, I don't care if you're professional, I'm still not going to treat you right. But I should still demand a professional man. He just needs to accept that I'm not going to treat you right. And if a professional man don't accept me treating him like crap, then I'm going to cry to the world that Black men ain't nothing.
Go get someone else. You're replaceable. And women do not really have to settle for that kind of attitude because I am just as endangered as he is, and I am just as special as he is.
Okay, let's try a call from home. Hi there, are you in touch with City Line?
Hello.
Yeah, oh, we have an endangered species on the line. How are you? Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to make a statement in regards to the question about Black men and white women. Okay, it needs to be understood before anything can be evaluated on that.
Cortez cuts to the truth. See, I forgive the people here because they didn't have the internet. But if you listen to people, if you listen to these simps and you listen to these women and stuff, they say stuff like, there's 7 times more Black women than there is Black men. What? Where? When? How? Like the only time where it's like 7 times more women than men in a population is if something drastically happens to the men, typically war, and it has to be like a major war, a war that deleted 6 out of 7 men. And even in America's history, we never had a war like that. Like even in college, but see, that's not the general population. We're talking about people alive, but even in college, it's still like 2 to 1. It's not 7 to 1. So somebody said war or plague, but the plague would only have to affect men. It'd have to be like a plague of the penis. So yeah, I mean, but it would have to kill. It would have to delete like 6 out of 7 men and boys. So that's never the case. I don't know why they talk like that. I don't know where they came up with this 7 to 1 stuff. Have they ever went to the nightclub and it was 7 women to 1 dude? Like, I mean, come on now. Like, they just make stuff up. We outnumber you 7 to 1, so it's your fault that, like, no, it's really like 52-48. Stop with the bull. Stop it. And then listen, men outnumber women when it comes down to fertility. There are more single men capable of starting families than there are single women capable of starting families. So that right there alone is enough to just negate the whole, men versus women, because we're not talking about 96-year-old bitches. We're talking about women who can actually start families, who are ready, willing, and able to start family. Okay.
Situation. First of all, society develops as generations.
See, the whole 7 to 1, and I know, the whole 7 to 1 ratio is really what women, because listen, even back then, what did they say? Since we were talking about The Wire, what did Lester Freeman say? I'm not going to a party unless I'm grabbing some titty. a lot of men are going to take that stance. So a lot of men is just like, listen, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to go to church to look for a bitch. It's not worth it to go here. Like, okay, put it like this. There are women there in the audience. If you just go by the numbers, a man would clean up. I repeat, if a man was to go to that audience, theoretically speaking, he would clean up. But why aren't there any men near? Why aren't the players there? Why aren't the 80s playboys with the Jerry curls there, cashing in? I'm gonna tell you why. Because these are unfuckable bitches. And because they are that, they see no reason to go. So now these women are trying to get men to go places. So they say stuff like, yeah, it's 7-1, trying to entice you with, invisible pussy to go places. Listen, it don't matter if it's 7D-1, if they're all a bunch of ugly old hags and shit. I don't want to go. And I also don't want to go if it's a bunch of supermodels that's not going to fuck me anyway. Listen, I don't want to go anywhere unless it is a reasonable possibility that an attractive woman is going to fuck me. There, I said it. Point blank, period. That's what the passport bros are about. They're like, no, you looking for sex. You damn right. Everywhere I go, I hope to find some pussy. I went to go get some grapes today. So, full disclosure, what I do is I have this, what's it called? Keto meter is what it's called. It's like $20 if you're gonna go on keto. I recommend getting it. It's better than the strips. It tells you exactly what your ketone level is by blowing in it. I blow in it every morning to determine what I am going to eat today. And I'm not going to go into the technical details of it, but this morning I blew a 4. And what a 4 means is that I can have some grapes. So I say, yes, I'm going to have some grapes. I could go to the regular grocery store, but no, I go to the organic spot and pay a little bit more for grapes. Why? Because it's better booty there. I mean, it's better grapes there too, but it's hotter bitches there than at Walmart or whatever the fuck people buy grapes from. Like, I go there for that reason. Everywhere I go, I hope it's attractive booty there for me, and I don't feel ashamed of it. But the problem is because these bitches look like this, that guys aren't even going anymore. That's the problem. They're not even going. Y'all got Walmart vaginas, and guys aren't going to Walmart looking for it. So y'all just trying to say, yeah, but it's 7-1. It's 7-1 because the other 6 dudes went to Whole Foods. You ugly bitch.
Come along, okay? And with this come different values. In society, as just white women.
We have an endangered species on the line. How are you? Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to make a statement in regards to the question about black men and white women. Okay, it needs to be understood before anything can be evaluated on that situation. That first of all, society develops as generations come along. Okay, and with this,
look at her chins.
Different values. If society is pressed to destroy the problem of racism, so do some of the old values. Okay, I'm not saying that a black man should prefer a white woman over a black woman. I'm not saying a black man should prefer a black woman over a white woman. What I'm saying is that as society changes, so do values. And it's not just because the black man he's scared of the black power, or he's scared of her ability to interact in society now. It's just that the black man, because of society, because of his changes, men in particular, white men also.
This dude is really breaking it down. This dude was red pill when the red pill was on a typewriter. I like this dude. That's what's up.
So,
Okay. Okay. Now you sound this sounds very intellectual and very philosophical. Now
if you don't shut your dumb ass up, can't you see men is talking? Bitch! You see, it's stuff like this. See how they just gloss past his truth and wisdom? He's trying to explain to you. He's like, listen, it's not that we like white women. It's just that, as times change, behaviors change, and the things that men value from women change, and we value certain cultural things from this particular culture of women than our own. And that's because of the crap that this bitch is spewing. And, oh, you sound too technical and philosophical. If you don't shut your 2-inch hair having ass up, did you ever interrupt when a man is talking?
let's get to the real point. What do you think? What is your preference?
What is my preference?
Yes.
The way I was raised, the way I developed, I prefer black women. I am a black man, and I prefer black women.
Okay. How do you feel when you see black men with white women?
How do I feel?
See, it's not enough that a man prefers black women. He has to also check other black men.
The way I was raised, I feel why. Well, first of all, I'm gonna put it this way: when I see black women with white men, that gets to me also, because the way I was raised.
Okay.
It comes to mind, and something that needs to be understood, and something I myself have come to understand. The society is changing, and people are changing.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you. We're going to get some comments from Dr. Stevenson. Hold on a while.
Thank you.
Okay, I think the one comment I have is that the way in which I hear the changes in the society reflected by participants in this relationship is when I hear the other race member saying, I'm not seeking a racial member, I'm seeking a person who is my partner. And that partner is what's important to me. And so it doesn't make any difference to me what color they are. And yet you do see patterns of behavior set up over time that suggest that there are sociological issues being played out within this relationship, and that there are issues of the society being played.
Relationships are a sociological thing. So of course there's going to be sociological issues with them.
Out within this relationship. I think we try to deny that sometimes. It's not scary.
Okay, thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stevenson, for being here with us today.
I enjoyed it.
My heavens, we didn't get to all of the issues that we could have discussed. We're going to have to do this again and hope.
And another thing, notice how it's a sociological issue, but when he said that he was raised a black man and he was taught to be with black women, that's not a sociological issue. That's not a sociological thing. That's that child wasn't being socialized into this thing. No, it's sociology when you want a woman who actually cares about if she's irritating you or not. Then it's you that have a sociological issue. Man.
Hopefully in a full hour. Thank you again. That's City Line today. I'm Jackie Hall. Goodbye.
Okay, so that's that. All right, I'll read some comments, then I'll close out. Let's see. What do we have here? Yeah, that was the 80s. That's what women did when they didn't have to go to work. Now they set themselves up to have to go to work, and because they wanted that relationship leverage. So that there is Roxanne from Roxanne. I want to be your man. Yeah, the 80s had some baddies. The 80s definitely had some baddies. Perhaps not as bad as the 90s or the 70s, but a lot better than what we got now. That's for damn sure. A lot better than what we got now. The 70s, you can see like the regular baddies on the Soul Train line. And the 90s, you still see the music videos like, I Get Around, like, with Pac and California Love and all that stuff. And you had the chick you had Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show, and she wore that dress on that R. Kelly video, Down Low, on the first one. And it was like 100% see-through. Yeah, there was that. Yeah, not Roxanne Shante. That's the original Roxanne from Roxanne. And so the 90s and the 70s was better. The 80s was okay. Fortunately, I was just a little Negro virgin in the 80s. And even more fortunately, I came of age in the 90s. So, that is a plus being my age. And but since I'd say maybe like 2015 or something, I noticed like a sharp decline. In just the general quality of women, especially the Black women. So somebody mentioned, went down a whole list. Listen, the only one I know from the 70s that just like burned into my brain was Pam Grier. My dad, all due respect, he did not care what was on and if I was in the room or not when I was a kid. He did not care at all. So he would watch this movie, and I used to watch movies that I looking back on it, I would have been better off not watching, because it just like burned things in my brain in the 80s, and certain things just kids shouldn't see. But this stuck in my brain for a while. Pam Grier was in a movie, and she was a slave to a Roman, and he was a Lannister, means that he had gladiators. And so it was Pam Grier, who was like an African captive, and it was a white woman. And and the whole premise of the movie was they had to fight each other at the end, right? And there was like a sex scene, even though Pam Grier wasn't in it, the white woman was, but Pam Grier was still hotter. And there was a scene where the dude, the Roman, made her dance, and I was like, dang, that is one beautiful woman. I'd never forget that. It just stuck in my brain for a long, long time. So some of y'all older G's, know the name of the movie and what I was talking about. But yeah, I remember that. So Pam Grier definitely was 70s fine. That just stuck in the memory bank for a long time. What's Sharky Machine? Oh dang, your dad was cold with it. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing a movie called Carrie. Seen a movie called Carrie. And I kid you not, I thought all white women were telekinetic. Not all of them, but I thought it was like, I thought white women were telekinetic, like in the way that some people are really smart, like I mean, if I could put it into numbers, and I couldn't as a kid, but I would just assume that every now and again, if you met enough white people, you'll come across one that can make stuff move and go crazy and just go on a spree like that. I remember that. I remember thinking that. And then I seen my dad's work friend. I was over a white dude's house. I was over a white kid's house. And I went to the bathroom, and I guess it was his mom, and she was there, and she was blow drying her hair. And I thought she had that power. So I was scared. I just walked away. All right, let me see. Okay, listen, stop. I don't go to TikTok looking at broads, and the reason is, and maybe I should because you find good content there. But the reason is because um you just blowing these bitches' heads up. I don't know why. Like, they're not. Why do dudes thumb up women's picture? They're not gonna sleep with what do you think? When has that ever happened? You just thumb up a chick, and that's the beginning. And next thing you know, she's just sucking a dick. Like, does that ever actually happen? Like, so I don't even Instagram. I got the GameChanger Instagram that y'all all can subscribe to, and I do post like links to movie night and stuff there. But outside of and ooh, maybe I'll play that Gladiator movie. But outside of that, I do not thumb up these broads. For every thumb up she get, that's an extra penny that her boyfriend got to spend on her birthday and Valentine's Day. It's like, yes, I got 100,000 likes, so which means that you got to give me a $10,000 gift for Valentine's Day because there's 100,000, or no, no, you got to give me $1,000 gift on Valentine's Day because there's 100,000 men that would love to be in your place. Fuck that, no, I am not. I am not contributing my thumb to the conceited bitch of America fund, and y'all shouldn't either. Okay, so there's a chick that looked like Pam Grier. Lucky her. Lucky her. Who mom was out there? Pam Grier? Pam Grier? Shout out to Black Ram. I don't do numbers. I mean, of course, I do like the arbitrary number, like I say if she's an 8 or something like that, but I don't do numbers when it comes to ranking chicks. And the reason why is because chicks fluctuate a lot. I mean, there's a number of reasons why, but one of the main ones is that women fluctuate. Like I could call a woman a 7, but it's really a 7, give or take about 2 points. Meaning that she could wake up one day a 9, or she could angle one day and just be a 9, and the next day she's a 5. Like, it's so much. It's such a wide range. Women are never, static. I know the pictures that you rank them on are static, but I mean, yeah, and of course, fat women don't count as women, but I'm talking about like some women you catch them in the right light and right angle, and it's like, and then you catch them in the wrong light and wrong. It is a huge fluctuation. It is a huge fluctuation. Um, and when you're dealing with women that you see online, you know, even somebody that like Danica or Chantel or Melody or you're still seeing them at their angle and stuff like that. Like, and it's probably higher than it would be if I woke up like this. So I just don't really go off the number system like that. Who's Jenny Powers? What, that's B Witch's name? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Same broad, just like one day she looks one day one way and the other, yeah. Yeah, the doppelganger. Excludes blondes could be a 7 to a guy who demands a blonde hair, blue-eyed woman. I mean, yeah, salute to Black Ram, and I see what he's doing with it. But if you notice, I do watch a show, and I don't give a number. He does the smash or pass thing. I don't really, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's not my thing. Salute to him for doing it. It is a creative idea, but it's his idea. So hey, rock with him. I do. Rock with him on that. And so speaking of Black Ram, and maybe I'll do a separate video because it's the end and maybe not many people see it. But fellas, y'all gotta stop. You, you gotta take off. When you go somewhere, and by somewhere I mean to another country, shower first before you go out and meet the local ladies. And here's what I mean by shower. Wash the America off of you. I'm going to repeat that. Wash the America off you, because what happens is you set a standard here. You set your standard here of what your number system is, like who's a 4, who's a who's a 4, who's a 5, who's a 9, who's a 8. You have that set here from living here your whole life. But then you go there, and what's a 9 isn't a 9, and what's an 8 isn't an 8 anymore, because it's in higher frequency. And I'm not saying Black Ram is doing this. I'm just saying it made me think of it because he just came back from Brazil, or Brazil or Colombia, I forget. But he just came back from abroad, from South America, and I don't know if he adjusted his standards, but some first timers, they do not adjust their standards, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna name names here. Austin Holloman had no business with that fat ass Kate broad, but she's fat by American standards. Or excuse me, she's fat by Filipina standards. She's not fat by American standards. So what you got to do is you got to adjust. You have to adjust to Filipino standards when you go to the Philippines. You got to adjust to the Colombian standards, when you go there. And the way to do that is look at the couples. Look at the couples. And if you're not like a 60-year-old overweight balding dude, and you see a 60-year-old balding short dude, that's overweight. Thelma was not over. God damn, I'm timing you out. Oh no, you got a wrench. Thelma was not overrated. Thelma was not overrated. Thelma was not overrated at all, not one bit. Thelma and Myron from Family Matters is the most underrated beauties there were. So he said, I don't know what Austin was thinking. Austin was thinking like an American. He had to watch that. Like he's doing great now from what I see, in his other travels. But like that was one of the first places he went. That was one of the first places he went. Thelma's from a show called Good Times. So, but yeah, y'all got to do that for my sake, because what y'all doing is y'all creating a reputation of low standards amongst Black American men. So y'all got to understand that the bar is adjusted. Look at that middle-aged or older fat dude with that's short, and see what he's rocking with. And so you should know automatically that you should be doing better than him. And then gauge your scale accordingly. That's how you do that. You gauge your scale accordingly. You see what the couples look like. And then, you rank yourself next to the dude in that couple. And if you feel like I'm taller, darker, handsome, richer than this dude, then I should have more of a compliment to me than he. Then that's how you act. And this is just general advice, because I'm sick of seeing this crap. I'm sick of seeing dudes get with the first broad that they get with because they're prettier than the bras that they could have access to in the States, but they haven't maximized what they could be doing there. And that's something I see amongst all new travelers. Oh, what is it with y'all? We're not talking about, listen, we freeze people in time. We're talking, I mean, how old is Pam Grier right now? No, we're freezing people in time. I'm saying that on Good Times, Thelma was an unchallenged beauty. Now, me, because I was younger and I was watching the show in syndication, and I thought that Janet Jackson was my age, even though Penny on the show was and Janet Jackson was already a grown woman saying Miss Jackson if you nasty. I didn't even know that they were the same person at that age. So I did have a thing for Janet Jackson in the form of Penny from Good Times. And but Thelma is, watch a rerun. Watch Thelma is just like, her voice, her afros, her body. She used to do ballet and stuff. She can't cook, but I don't care because it's Thelma. Like she had it going on. And then you look and like, how did Florida Evans produce that? All right, let me stop. Went down after that. Thelma's body was kicking. JJ called her ugly. He didn't call her. I mean, okay, when you're a teenager or in your early 20s, it's awkward when that 9-year-old have a crush on you. But he didn't just call her ugly. He was trying to politely brush her off. I think many of you have been there. The neighbor, 9-year-old or something call you cute or handsome, or then it's just awkward. Like, oh, what do I do with that? Like, what? You're not gonna break her heart, but you can't really just you can't really entertain it, so yeah, it's awkward, and JJ was just dealing with that. That's all that was. So but I don't think he ever called her ugly, at least not in any episode I've seen. Well, she was an attractive woman, at least body wise. I have to look at her again to remember what she looked like in the 80s. But I really think that that her dance move and her body gave a lot of sex appeal. But most importantly, she was famous for being Michael Jackson's brother, and the youngest member of the Jackson family of the time. So that's, like you have the Jackson 5 and then Michael Jackson, they're still famous. And then of course, the Jackson name has all the buzz in the world. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's one more Jackson, just when you thought there was enough. And, and look at her body. So that was enough, She was hotter than, on Poetic Justice, she was hotter than, what's her face? Regina King. So yeah. Oh yeah, he did call Thelma ugly. But Thelma was giving it to JJ. She had all kind of skinny jokes, and yeah, she used to be on that dude head. Where do you rank Pam Grier? Okay, let's see. So who's that broad in the Purple Rain movie? She could get it. Oh, who was the chick? Maybe it's the same one. Who was the chick on The Last Dragon? Now she could get it too. She can get it too. The Last Dragon. Whoopi Goldberg was not okay. Vanity. Yeah, that was her name. So that's the same chick, huh? That's the same one. So Purple Rain and The Last Dragon had the same broad, huh? Yeah, Vanity was fine. So the 80s was full of fine women. They just didn't live in Baltimore and they didn't go to this. Ah, poor Baltimore. Oh crap. Stacey Dash definitely had her day. All right. Yeah, so that's it. Oh dang, I'm 20 minutes up. All right. So yeah, special thing. Let me get this name again. It was LT or JT. So let me see. I think it was JT. LT. So special thanks to LT for the $100. Especially since it's to the Cash App. I don't have to pay the 30%. No taxes, no nothing. Hey, I greatly appreciate you, brother. You know, and thanks to everybody that contributed. Thanks to Jay, the ascetic, and Dwayne Rhodes. Appreciate you all. And appreciate the members. Thanks a lot. Those who are listening silently and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00. This is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.